you get on alert. And I remember I'm sitting there and I have no idea like what, like I heard a noise in front. So I'm looking like this. And all of a sudden I just pan to my left and I'm like, oh gosh.
Do you remember when I texted you, bro?
And yeah. And so I see it. So then I text you. I'm like, big buck, left, shoot.
Dude, we like texted at the same time. Like I remember seeing your typing and then it was like our text messages text at the same time. I was like, there's a freaking buck, dude. I didn't know how big it was.
You said something, you were like 8 point or something like that. And I said, yeah, shoot it. Yeah, I like that shirt, man.
Thank you. Chase Elliott, number 2 in the standings right now.
Number 2?
He's number 2.
Where's Larson?
I can't remember where they race tomorrow.
Is Larson 5? I think he's down to 5.
It was, I can't remember exactly. Chase Elliott's number 2, I know for sure. I think William Byron's number 1. Larson's like 4 or 5. And then Alex Bowman's like maybe 9 or like right outside the top 10. So Team Hendrick, dude.
Yeah, I like it, dude. I haven't been following it as much as I did at the beginning of the season. Larson's just been kind of, it's been middle of the pack, dude. He was hot at the beginning, now he's middle of the pack, dude.
And that Indy weekend.
Let me tell you who's not going to be middle of the pack. These bad boys right here, dude. Old Golf, baby.
They're looking nice, dude.
I lost this shirt for a while, and then I found it today, and I was
looking nice,
super excited about it.
You ever wear that tank top I got you? Do you remember that tank top?
The Jesus milkshake one? Yeah, I rock that.
What does it say?
Something about gains. It says something about gains.
Ultimate gains. Have you seen this one? It says Jesus is the ultimate deadlifter.
Yeah,
that
he's
cool.
powerlifting that.
I would buy that, but I'm really skinny. So.
You should get that. That would make it even better. Because you don't need to be strong, dude. He's your strength.
No, I need to be strong, dude.
Are you still going to the gym?
I got out of the routine. It's easy to be in a routine. It's hard to start it. So when I tweak my back,
and get back in.
Yes, dude. When I tweak my back, I lost my routine. And so I'm having a hard time getting back into it. I went Monday, but today, that was about 6 days ago.
You're once a weeker.
I'm once a weeker.
They say you should be about 3 to 5. We're one day a week.
Hey, as long as you get that blood flowing, that's all that matters, dude.
I'm ready for that deer season routine. Like,
the deer season, I will never go to the gym, dude.
Yeah. Like, how funny is that though? Like, you wake up at like 5 a.m. to go to the gym and you're like, oh my
dude.
gosh. And it's like, time deer hunt.
It's like lunchtime,
Bing.
dude. It's lunchtime. I'm wide awake. Like I could read it like a half of a book right then, dude. I don't even need my alarm, especially early season. I don't even need my alarm. The problem I have early season is falling asleep. Knowing that I have to wake up early.
I always wake up for my alarm. Dude, always.
Same. But
unless I'm on like when we go to Missouri or something, if it's like day 6 or 7.
That was brutal, dude.
Then I'm an alarm guy.
I'm not going to lie, dude. That was a fun hunt. But by the end, I was like, I'm ready to go, dude.
You clock in, dude. When you go on an out-of-state hunt, you are clocking in.
I mean, like, because we were getting up at 4 and getting out of I remember getting out of the blind probably around 5:30.
At least.
Yeah. No, maybe we even got up earlier because I feel like we were getting set up at like 4:30.
It was about 4. Before we go on, though, Aaron Williams.
Who
is Aaron Williams?
It's a loaded question, dude. I love Jesus. I love the Lord, first and foremost, because everything that I have and everything I've been blessed with has been because of him.
Man, dude.
And so that's what I always love people to know about me is just how much I love the Lord. And like, it's crazy because like early on in my walk, I would make it an emphasis. And it was, I would say it was natural. Like it was a good intention. There's nothing wrong with like being evangelistic or like being a spokesperson for Jesus. Absolutely, like proclaim the gospel whenever you can. But I think for me, what's changed as I've gotten older is like when I was really younger in the faith and young in general, I would like start a new job, and my first thing would be like, I want to make sure people know I'm a Christian and know Jesus, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think what I've learned as I've gotten older is like that. My mindset then was kind of taking the people aspect out of it for like, I almost like replacing like it was like a mission to me. Like I want everyone around me to know Jesus, which is not bad. But as I've gotten older, it's like, I want them to know Jesus, but I want to get to know them too. You know, where it's not like they're like a mission for me to
it's more natural.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Like where it's just like they know you love the Lord.
Exactly.
That you're a Christian just because of like who you are.
Exactly.
Not where you got to be like billboarded and like
exactly.
Which
bro.
it's like, I think people relate to that better. Like when
100%.
Like, cause like you're natural, and I think that can be a problem. Like, I think it works for some people. Like some people like need to get like aggressive with,
right.
But then also like, it can be a big turnoff, and that's why, it's just, when you just try to throw like Jesus on people, they can just be like total, like you can do the totally opposite. You think you're like,
dude, exactly.
Like, but if it's just like you get to know somebody and then they're like, man, you kind of like operate different. You don't get frustrated. You don't this and that.
Yes, dude.
And I think that's something that like, obviously we were roommates in college, and, that was probably right before, like, I would say both of our like pivoting points of like, cause one, we were still like 21 years old, but you get so gung ho in your faith, which is good. Like you want to like, just like tell everybody, but then it's like when you mature, it's like, no, like people, like you want to be in the grocery store and like talk to people and like that topic come up, like, yeah, of course. But I find it most of the longer lasting impacts are from when I've built a relationship with somebody,
bro.
And then I can be somebody that they can rely on or come to for like insight and things like that. But
like my favorite quote of all time is preach the gospel and use words if necessary.
Yeah.
I love that, bro, because it like, just like what you're saying. Exactly, dude. Exactly. And like, and I won't harp too long on this, but the biggest passage in scripture here lately that I've just been like, man, I've just been like eating it up is really not even just one section, but if you look, I think it's Matthew 24, 26. It's at the end of the book, but it's when Jesus is at his Last Supper. And so he has this dialogue with the Father, and he says, like, that's when he says the, line of, Lord, or Father, I want to return with you like I did before the foundation, that whole dialogue. So he prays to the Father, and that's like, 10 verses or whatever. And then the next thing he goes into, and this is all stuff that the disciples are hearing at the table. And the next thing he goes to is, thank you, Father, for the ones that you gave me. And he's looking at his 12 best friends. Mm-hmm. He's like, thank you for the ones that you gave me. Like everything that you gave me, and you gave responsibility for me to steward them on earth. Like I've given them all that I am. Yeah. And thank you for them. And what's crazy is like, this is one of his last dialogues that you hear in all of scripture. One of his last, not the last, but he doesn't go into at that time, like that Last Supper, he doesn't go into like Lazarus getting raised from the dead. He doesn't go into the woman with blood. He doesn't go to the lame man at Bethesda. He doesn't go into all these different miracles he did. Like, it says that if you calculated every miracle, there's not enough books, like not enough pages in the world.
Yeah.
But he doesn't mention one of those, dude. One of the last things he mentioned is, thank you, God, for my best friends.
Yeah.
And that, dude, that just stirs me up, dude.
Yeah.
Because it's relational, man.
Yeah, it's relational. It's just, being there when people need you and being an example and a light to the world. And that's what it is, dude. And that's where, you know, the world needs it. The world needs light right now.
And they need college football.
They need college, which I'm ready.
Go
We're
Dogs.
right around the corner, dude. I don't know about the Dogs, but I'm about Michigan.
Give me
and I'm about these boys.
Give me
right
a
here.
go.
Go blue. Yeah, I'll give you that right
I'll
there.
take it, dude.
We'll go blue. I think we're going to the game on the same day.
Yes.
Different games.
You're going Michigan and who?
Michigan, Wisconsin, October 4th.
Georgia, Kentucky, dude.
In Georgia? That'll
In
be
Georgia,
fun.
in Athens. It's my second Athens game ever. I've gone to a lot of away
When
games.
are you going to go to Georgia for a big buck?
I don't know.
Dude, they're there.
I've never got a Georgia buck, dude.
But they're there.
They're
And look at
there.
Seek One guys and all those.
They get all the
I guess
metro
they're all in the
ones.
city, but Georgia's got big bucks, dude.
If you go downtown, you have a good luck, dude. You're down with the
Over
by the DMV,
While
dude.
you're at Mercedes Benz, dude, just pop one down the road, do a little door knocking. Speaking of scouting, dude, I saw a jumbo.
Mac
today.
Daddy.
Nice one. Public land this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, did a little scouting, dude, before I came here.
Was there a lot of? Well, no, you can't velvet hunt there. So there were probably
I'm not going to tell you where.
anybody
I'm
out
not
there.
going to tell you where it was because I don't want to.
That's fine. No, don't ruin it.
I don't
Dude.
want the world to know.
Don't ruin it.
But we've been there. You and I have been there.
I like that. Was it crowded? Was there
No,
anybody there?
No,
Did you see
because
anybody?
well, I didn't have, because this weekend is a velvet hunt. I haven't had any. I got this new property around here that I'm still trying to figure out. Got a lot of does on camera. Put in a food plot. I put some buck bourbon out and stuff. We've got a little buck, a couple spikes, nothing to write home about. So I wanted to go out this morning because I knew a lot of people would be velvet hunting, and I just had time. So I went out this morning and just kind of like observation sat, and I was going to drive
In
around.
the public land?
Yeah, in public land. And I was going to drive around on glass, but I figured I'd rather go and just kind of sit and see how they're moving. And then bingo.
Dude, do you remember when we did that a couple of years ago and we hiked like 3/4 mile back there? Do you remember that when right where that dried out river bottom was? And then there was the fence line to the private, but there was like that field and we set up do you remember doing that?
Yeah.
Dude, I went there, I think last turkey season, and all of that, remember that field? It's all developed now. Like condos.
Out by the power
and-
lines?
No. This was
Oh, no.
right off of road or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That was all like apartments now.
Yeah, I got you. That's crazy.
It's getting harder to hunt public in this neck of the woods.
Yeah, there's just not much. There's not much in Middle Tennessee. It's just,
East Tennessee, dude.
it's getting crowded. Yeah. And dude, Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Arkansas's got a lot of public land.
Yeah, I do. I would love to go to Arkansas sometime.
There's a lot of public land out there, but it's getting public land hunting is becoming a more
Oh,
of
dude,
a
it's
thing.
yeah,
Like all
it's
this mobile.
Yes, bro.
You know, people getting
YouTube and all that
saddles.
stuff making
and
exactly.
It's definitely getting to be a lot bigger of a thing. You know, getting out there and now there's a lot of controversies and like cameras and crossbows and all that kind of stuff, and the whole public land hunting space is a whole different animal.
It is, dude.
Especially I don't think bow, or at least around here, bow isn't as bad. As soon as rifle opens
Dude,
up,
it's dangerous.
yeah, it's
People
I
don't
even-
take the right steps of safety. Like, remember when we walked up on that one guy that didn't have an
during
orange
the
on?
rifle. He had
During
no
rifle,
orange.
bro.
I still don't think till this day he knows we were there.
He did,
Well, dude, we got within 20 yards of that sucker,
yeah.
and I saw him up in the tree looking around, and I was like,
There's a hunter right there.
I was whispering to you, I was like, dude, there's a guy. And so we back out, and
He never turned around.
Dude, if we were a deer, we were dead. Like
Oh,
we were
yeah.
in shooting range for a bow, let alone a rifle. And dude,
It shows how I don't know if he's just didn't care if he's eating a little Debbie, but he didn't even turn around because I would be like, dude, there's a buck behind me or like something behind me.
And we were not being quiet.
No, we were trotting, dude.
Were we squirrel hunting that day? I think we were squirrel hunting.
I don't remember what we were doing.
Either way, we got
wonder,
up.
was it the same day that we saw we were driving out of the hunt?
That big buck?
Yes, and then we pulled over.
That was a different day because
we
chased that buck for a little while. Oh, we should have got that buck.
I know, bro.
Dude, that thing was like 140. It was like a 130s, 140.
That's a massive deer for that land.
Yeah,
that public land.
There's not a lot of. I haven't heard of any big ends killed either. Really, like 90 inches.
Yeah, I think Hunter said the biggest he ever heard was like 150.
We've got some good ones on camera though.
Yeah,
I know y'all have.
There was, I can't remember what we called that one, but that was like 2 years ago, and nobody ever saw him.
Yeah, that thick boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that thing
he was big. I mean, he
had some mass.
I don't think he was that big.
He wasn't. I don't think he was big.
He was also velvet when we had him in the picture.
Thick. he had some mass on him. That kind of goes into what I want to talk about today. Is just, like that guy that we saw. Like maybe he was a new hunter. Maybe he was just clueless, like just learning or just not aware. And I know we both didn't necessarily grow up in families that, because I feel like you either grow up in a family that has like a generation of hunters or you're like new getting into it. And I mean, even for us amongst our church, we've had multiple people in their 50s, I don't know, some of them maybe older than that have come to us in the last couple of years and wanted to learn and know more. And it's just becoming more of a thing where people want to either learn the skill or like they just see the excitement of it, or I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's more people just, like with COVID and stuff like that, like people wanted to be able to, if things went south, like provide food for themselves. And, so we've had the opportunity to like help get some people, kind of into it, and then whether they like full on grab a hold of it and start doing it themselves is, really on them. But I know like I started when I was 13, I had, we had some family friends. They lived on a farm and were hunting family. Me and my dad actually started hunting like the same year, and we both killed our first deer the same year. And so we've kind of grown, into hunting that way, my dad at a later stage in life, me, cause like I know a lot of my friends that have grown up in hunting families, they kill deer at like 6 years old and, they just grow up with it, but even with that, like, that was like going out and, you sit in a blind and you like wait for deer to come. And I still didn't have like knowledge of like what it looks like to chase a deer, find deer, like hunt a big deer or even locate a big deer, or like, there was a lot of things that were still missing in that, like, I don't want to say just anybody can go sit in the woods and kill a deer, but just about like you could,
especially during the rut, dude.
Like you never know what could happen, so it's like, with that, you started, when did you, obviously like you and I went out and you got a good deer, but that was 2021. So it's been 4 years that you've been hunting hard.
Yep.
And,
so I had gone on hunts when my mom got remarried in Georgia. I went on this hunt in Savannah.
So
it was like a weekend.
When was that?
I was probably 13. I think it was like 7th grade. So around that same age.
So around there.
But I don't know. I was intrigued by it for sure. Like I was like, oh heck yeah. Like her new husband was a big deer hunter. So I was like, yeah, dude, I want to get into it. And so I went, I had a blast, didn't see anything the whole time. It was only like a weekend hunt. It was like a 3-day deal. So we didn't see anything, but I still enjoyed the time, and I enjoyed the whole waking up early, wearing camo and all that stuff. And then we went like here and there. In the winter, we would go a couple times. I think he shot a spike one time, and that was fun. But after that, which they weren't married for long, but after that, I never really picked it up. And then I moved here from Georgia, moved here in 2010, finished out high school, made some friends in high school. One of them hunted. And then I finally got him to take me with him one day just to sit with him.
Was that Zach?
Yeah. And then, but I never knew, like, because we went like prime time rut.
Did y'all see anything?
Oh, yeah. We saw like 8 doe.
Really?
But I didn't know what rut meant. And I didn't know like the timing or anything like that.
Yeah.
So he took me at like, and I don't know how inexperienced he knew I was. I try to make it sound like, I'm like, yeah, bro, I go all the time. And so he took me, which I would have a hard time, especially that time of the year, taking someone who's never hunted.
Yeah.
And, but we were in like a redneck blind or whatever. And so that helped like with etiquette.
So were you actually like hunting?
No,
or you were just like along for the ride?
I was just along for the ride.
Yeah.
And we saw like a group of 6 doe come out, and then we saw 2 scragglers, or 2 stray doe earlier before, I don't know. But I remember thinking like, bro, why are you not shooting? Like, dude, they're right there. Like, we're like 20-yard shots.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm waiting on a buck. And I'm like, bro, why are you waiting on a buck? Like, that'd be fun to shoot a buck, but dude, kill him, bro. Like, I'm here to see you kill one. And he never did. So that was the end of that hunt. But then when my dad bought that property, that's when I was like, dude, I'm going all in, dude. Because I think for me, like just the preconceived perception, and it wasn't anything that I was ever told, but I just thought I had to have all my ducks in a row to like be able to hunt. Like I have to have my whole wardrobe. Like,
yeah, you got to have a nice bow. You got to have
exactly
like tree stand, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, dude. And now we're in a day where we have Marketplace, Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's where I started. I got all my stuff from Marketplace. Yeah. We live close to Kentucky. So up in Bowling Green, a dude was selling his climber for like $120. I talked him down to $80. Boom, there, I got a climber. And then got a cheap bow off of Facebook Marketplace. Got most of my starter camo. Like everything that I needed to at least start was like Marketplace. And I probably was only like $250 out of pocket.
Yeah.
Then you buy your license and all that stuff. But for whatever reason, I was thinking like I have to have everything set up before I get into hunting. But one year, I don't know, I just was like, well, when he bought that property, I was like, I'm just going to do what I can do. And you remember my first blind was that little
I want to talk about that. Launcher with the tarp, and you were like tucked in some bushes,
yes,
right?
dude. And I saw, remember the picture I sent you? I still saw like 4 doe, dude.
Yeah, and they got what, like 10 yards from you?
Dude, they were
like
close. I scared them because when I went back to draw,
yeah, you hit the tarp.
I hit the tarp like with my arrow.
Let's give an idea on. So how many acres are we talking here?
6.
So we're talking 6 acres. Is that 6 huntable acres?
6, probably 5 huntable acres.
Probably 5 of it is huntable, and so
you have to be very strategic.
Yeah, it's a small area, and so you set up this tarp. You set up this chair. I have
no trail cameras.
You have no trail cameras. You don't even know how the deer are moving.
I don't know. I don't know anything about deer hunting. I'm sitting and hoping.
You're out there.
Yeah, I'm out there.
Which, we'll get into this in a minute, but which I think is like one of the things is like you need to have base knowledge, but then you just need to go do it
exactly
and mess up.
And then you'll start gaining like, experience. Oh, this is what I could have done next time.
Yeah. And so then, if I remember correctly, you call me. I'm like, dude, you need to get like a stand or something. Like, you need to get something to get off the ground. And which isn't always the case. I've killed deer off of sitting on buckets up against a tree.
But for that land, you definitely.
But it's just such a tight quarters,
exactly.
you know. And so you end up going and buying
a little single stand, ladder stand from Walmart.
Walmart for
like $70.
Yeah, $70. You buy this stand and you set it up. And so that was
right
Did you-
before we
did-
went out there.
Yeah. Did you hunt out of it before you and I went out?
Maybe one time.
So you set the stand up, it comes out, and we're working together at the time. And you're like, hey, you want to come sit with me on Thanksgiving or something like that?
Yes, because
right?
you had just gone to Missouri and killed this big boy.
Yeah, I just went to Missouri, just got back, and you were like, dude, let's go hunt. It's Thanksgiving. And because I think originally I was going to go hunt public because it's Thanksgiving Day. You got to hunt. In the morning.
Oh, dude, for sure.
And then you were like, hey, you want to come sit with me? And I was like, sure. And so I was just going to sit, or actually we did. I sat below you. So you sat up in that stand
This is
and I sit below
my
you.
favorite story.
Dude, this is such a fun story. And I'm on, I think I just had like a collapsible chair that I just put like, and I'm literally like sitting like, if you
Directly
farted,
under.
it was coming on me, you know, like I'm sitting right below you. And I remember I'm sitting there. I have no idea about this property. You barely have any idea.
I don't know. I didn't know to check the wind that morning or anything.
Yeah. And so, which it's such a small property, you just kind of got to hunt it.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, now we know that there's better ways to hunt it and set up. We got some good setups out there.
Pattern.
But so I just remember we're sitting there, and it's probably, what was it, like
It's like 7:30,
7:30. And I remember I heard a noise like in front of us, and then, you know, so in front of us would be the east. So then to the north, all of a sudden I heard a noise. So then I get on alert, right? So like once you
What I
hear
text
something,
bro.
you get on alert. And I remember I'm sitting there and I have no idea like what, like I heard a noise in front. So I'm looking like this. And all of a sudden I just pan to my left and I'm like, oh gosh.
Do you
And
remember when I
look,
texted you, bro?
and yeah. And so I see it. So then I text you, I'm like, big buck, left, shoot.
Dude, we
or
like texted at the
something.
same time. Like I remember seeing your typing, and then it was like our text messages text at the same time. I was like, "There's a freaking book, dude!" I didn't know how big it
You said
was.
something, you were like 8 point or something like that. And I said, yeah, shoot it or something. And so I remember I'm sitting here looking up, dude, because like I'm like sitting below you, looking at this buck, looking up, looking at this buck. And so I can't see your angle. And so I remember you, and part of this story is kind of stupid, like some of the stuff we did, but it happened.
It
and
worked out.
big buck
dude.
down, baby. So I remember I look up and you're on it. And so I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for you to shoot it. And then all of a sudden the deer just like walks off. And I'm like,
Oh, dude, can I go into that for a second?
yeah.
So he comes directly behind us. He was what, 20 yards behind the single stand?
Well, I'm talking when
At
he came out the
first.
first time.
Yeah, the first time he was close.
Yeah.
And I remember like he was in my scope, and then I remember
There's like a tree branch or something, right?
yeah, it was like this evergreen tree, and I was like, man, I just did not feel comfortable, but I was like, bro, I can take the shot, but luckily I knew enough.
Was
Like
that after I
don't
called
want to
him?
injure
Was
it.
that after I called him in?
Yeah, and he was on a doe. Like you called him in, and I think there was a doe, or there was a couple of doe, because he kept running them off and stuff.
Well, he came in that green field. Remember, he came in that green field first, and then he walked
Walked
around.
down them rocks, and so, dude, he was behind this evergreen tree, and I was like, dude, I want to shoot him so bad. Were you? I think you were like, dude, shoot him, and you didn't know why I wouldn't
Well,
shoot him
because
yet.
once we saw him the first time and he disappeared, I climbed up the ladder.
Oh, that's right.
And it's a single person stand. I climb up the ladder, and not knowing that you guys didn't hook the ladder stand up correctly. So it's like it's wiggling,
Well,
dude.
it was wiggling because I was like,
And you were shaking, and it just wasn't tight, and it was a whole crazy scenario.
Thank
And I remember I
God.
climb up there, and I'm like, dude, why didn't you shoot him the first time? So then I started grunting, like I did a little rattle, and then I started grunting, and we watched him walk through the neighbor's property, hop the fence onto our property, and then he walks right along the property line, and then that's when he got behind that cedar bush, and I remember like you're on him, and I'm like, and he's like 20 yards, and I'm like, shoot him. Why are you shooting him?
yes,
and
bro.
then that's when he walked off.
And
And
I
so your mindset, Like go into why
Well,
you didn't-
I'm not just saying this, bro. I promise on my life, dude. Right after that, I said, Lord, please, Jesus, bring him back.
Yeah.
And dude, I promise I prayed that. And I've prayed that before, and I haven't got a deer, but I don't know. I just thought it was cool because I was like, Lord, please bring him back. Like, if I get another chance of shooting this thing, dude.
Because part of it was just an experience, right? Like you would say, because like it was like a small cedar bush that was kind of covering him up a little bit, but like
now I would have definitely.
You got a
taken
30-06, you can shoot through a little bush.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't big or anything like that. Like, so like it's not you were shooting through a tree limb or something, but you definitely could have shot through it.
Yes.
And so deer walks off, and I remember you like saying some stuff, and I remember looking at you and I'm like, dude, we're going to get him because he's mad.
Yes.
So then
bro.
I grunted him again, and he takes the same line all the way back around the property
path, bro.
and then stands in the same spot, but not behind the cedar.
Yes, dude. Yes.
And so you end up shooting him, and he walks off.
Yeah,
and he looked like it looked like you never hit him.
thought
And
I
I was
missed
like, dude, how'd you miss him at 20
Yeah.
yards? And we're talking about it. We're processing through it. And he goes off, and I remember I'm looking at you because, you're still new at hunting. And I'm like, hey, man, like it's Thanksgiving. It's 8:00 at this point now. We were going to be done at 10 so we could go make Thanksgiving lunch, with our families and stuff. Which I think we were all having Thanksgiving together that year. And so I remember I get down and I'm like, let me go see if I can.
You said if I get down, our hunt's over.
Yeah, I was like, if we get down and we start moving around, it's 6 acres. If there's anything in here,
Yeah.
like we're just gonna tear it up, And so I remember I get down and don't see anything, don't see any blood. So I told you, I was like, hey, we can get down and look. But like, if you get down and we get down and we start walking around, we're done hunting, at this point. And you're like, yeah, whatever. Let's see what we can do. I remember we walk, what was it, like 30 yards, and he's
Well, I think you started walking, and I was still coming down from the stand a little bit.
And then I found him, right?
Yeah. Well, you were like as soon as you go, the way that I remembered it is you heard something and you turned around and looked at me and you're like, bro, I just heard something.
Oh yeah, I heard him fall.
Yes, you heard him fall. And then I like Rocky Balboa, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, I think that was him because I saw I couldn't see where I had the general idea of
You saw him through
direction.
the trees.
Yeah, but I saw like a flop, dude.
But it was weird because he fell in the grass. He didn't fall in the leaves or in like crash. It was like he was just there and he fell over. So it was just like a duh. It's like all I heard. And I was like, dude, I just heard some weird noise. Don't know what it was. And we went over there and
Dude, saw the rack just thinking.
So we saw him, started celebrating, and it started to rain. So we took a bunch of pictures and stuff. We'll put a picture up in there so everybody can see.
Dude, and we tried to get it over the fence. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
there was that old fence that was like still left on the property that we had to get him over. It was like a barbed wire fence, and he was heavy. And what did he end up going? 137?
No, 140. You remeasured him. It was like 143, I think.
I can't remember.
No. 136.
136? I was going to say, he's like high 130s.
I think something like that.
He's a high 130s, borderline 140s.
Yeah.
And first deer. Your first
And that's when
you were hooked.
I was hooked forever.
Yeah. That was fun.
Not even a doe. I never killed a doe before that point.
No. Have you even killed a doe?
And I was,
since?
dude. Huh?
Have you still even killed a doe?
Oh yeah, I've killed
They've killed a
multiple
couple
doe now.
bucks since then.
I killed that bow buck, and then I usually get about 2 doe a year, probably.
Yeah. But no, that was fun. We've been on a lot of other good hunts too. Went to Missouri last year.
That was fun. You killed one last year.
Yeah, I've killed one every.
You were the only one to kill one last year.
Yeah. That was fun though, because I killed early. So then me and you got to hunt. We had a really good hunt.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that non-typical.
At the very end, dude. Yeah.
We saw that non-typical, and then my legs fell asleep.
Yeah. That was fun, bro.
And,
were you with? No, you weren't. Because I hunted that blind the rest of the time we were there. But there was you You weren't there with me when that coyote came out. I don't think.
No,
Were you?
we saw bobcat though.
Oh yeah,
Remember
that's
that?
right.
We saw the
Yeah.
bobcat. But no, we've had some good hunts, and that was a super fun hunt. But it kind of got you ignited. Like, I would say that is what kicked you off into wanting to like go to the next level of hunting. Like, I would say that stirred your wanting to get more knowledge, about hunting and like how to hunt better. And, that basically like kicked you off into like, you started doing a little bit of public hunting just because that was such a small plot and being more methodical. And so like with being a newer hunter, like now, I'd say you're an experienced hunter, but like being a newer hunter that didn't have really like anybody to teach you, like obviously like, you and I like you've learned some things from me and we've just had some experiences together and that learned some things. But like, if you knew now what you knew when you started, like what are some of those things that you would be more aware of or change, or just like what you wish you knew?
Thermals and wind and best time to hunt
So
of the day.
going to thermals for people that don't know what thermals are.
So
Because wind obviously is just knowing which way the wind is going to blow.
Right.
So you cannot get busted and be downwind and smell you, because deer have a great smell.
Exactly.
So then thermals goes deeper into that. So kind of just explain what.
Because in the morning, just the best rule of thumb, in the morning your thermals are coming up. Like, so they're, that's why the grass, like if you look early morning, why it's foggy, those thermals are coming from, everything's coming up from the ground when the sun's rising. So all the air is moving towards the sun in the morning. So your thermals, like your natural body odor and like clothing odor, is getting drawn from you as the sun rises. When the sun starts setting, those thermals start dropping back. So,
you mean an elevation? So like if you're in a ridge bottom or like a ridge top,
those thermals are dropping. In
rise
the morning
to the top of the ridge and then drop to the bottom of the valley.
Exactly. Yep. And so like knowing that, and then knowing what direction the wind's coming from is the most important thing. And again, it just, like you said, it matters where you're hunting though too. So like if you're out Midwest, like people don't set up tree stands out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're spot and stalk because they've got a lot of field and they can just hunt the wind, And so, but here in the Appalachians where we're at, you have to be a lot more strategic on where you set up a stand, find where they're bedding, you know what I mean? Just all that kind of like, all that detailed stuff.
It's a lot more thick woods, hardwoods.
Yeah. So you have to know where all that's at, which makes that big buck I killed even crazier because I didn't really pay attention to all that.
Yeah.
At first, but it is insane because like you said, deer have a really good sense of smell, and I've like done everything I can to try to like protect my clothes, wash them the right way and do all that. And then the wind starts swirling and I've been busted and I'm like, dude, there's no way. Like I've been showering in this
shampoo.
Yeah,
and
dude.
Like, I haven't brushed my teeth. Like,
dude, like I've like done everything I can.
Crazy stuff. So yeah, like scent stuff, like you can only control like what you can control. I mean, and like that's the thing is I've had people that I know that kill big bucks and they like care less about scent, but they're just aware of like, okay, this is where the wind's blowing. This is how it's moving. Like if a deer comes out over here, I can't let him get here because that's where my wind's going. So like, I know if a deer comes from behind or here, like this is where I got to cut him off.
Exactly.
Like if I'm going to have an opportunity. Right. So it's just like, I think we put a which obviously, like, everybody's trying to sell something. Everybody's trying to come up with new products. Like, that's the hunting industry. There's always like,
and some of them can be a benefit.
yeah, and I think they do help. I think they help. I'm not gonna say like scent is just a myth, because there is some truth to it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know how much of it like is actually. I think you can do as much as you can to make it better.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they'll ever come up with something where it's
100%.
like, you spray this on, they'll never ever smell you again. But then there's stuff like Scent Thief and Windjammer,
those little
Nose Jammer.
Nose Jammer, and those little wafer. I love those little wafer things.
Yeah, I think those, if anything, have more of an impact because supposedly like it gets in their nasal cavity and it's supposed to like keep them from smelling. Like if there's truth to that and if that works, it's like, yeah, that's going to be an advantage, So like, do I still use like Scent Thief? Yeah, I use it.
Sure.
Like I sprayed all over. I've sprayed a couple times on the blind because like I want to set myself up for the best advantage that I can have, right? So it's like, that's something that you can do, but I don't like that will never trump
nature,
knowing the wind and knowing where your thermals and stuff are going.
Exactly.
Right? Like that is like one of the big things that I think we need to be aware of and just setting yourself up for success to win that opportunity of a big buck, or if you're hunting just to get a deer in general, like to when that comes, like you're ready for it.
Well, and another thing too that I've learned is like still on talking about scent is like, you have to be aware of not just where you set your stand, but how you accessed it. Like your entire access into where you're going to hunt, like you need to lock that.
Why?
Because when you're walking in, even when you use this stuff, and I've had it happen to me where I'm like, I see a deer coming I know where the wind's blowing. I've seen, you know what I mean? I've like thrown my milkweed out or whatever. I see where the wind's blowing. Deer comes downwind. I'm like, oh, money. But I've seen it where like, I can't think of an exact scenario, but I've seen it happen where one deer is like totally like the wind's blowing in my face and the wind's working out to where he's not going to smell me. Well, then I've seen another deer, same hunt, come where I walked in, not even necessarily down my wind. Yeah. But boom, gone and blow or whatever. And I've got all this stuff sprayed on me and it doesn't matter because all those branches, especially early season, big time.
Yeah.
All those branches are picking up your scent, like when you're brushing into them while you're accessing it.
Yeah. So access is a big thing, like how you come in and off of bedding and stuff like that, and not to bump anything. Another thing that I think is like a big, like if you're wanting to grow as a hunter and like, no matter, like we talked about earlier, like there's people that have been hunting for 20 years, but have just hunted in a way like, oh, my grandpa has a farm or we got a family farm and there's just this blind that they hunt in and they go out and sit in it and then that's how they hunt, but then there's people that, go take it deeper, like we're more extreme than that, like we're going out, we're scouting, we're trying to get inventory on what deer are around.
It's almost year round, really.
Yeah, and we're aware of what's going on, all the time. And one of the biggest things is I think just having some sort of scouting tool. Like I use Onyx. I think you use Onyx. I love Onyx. I think it's the best one that you can use as far as a mobile app to keep track of things as far as hunting goes, because you can go on there, you can pinpoint where your stands are, you can pinpoint where you've seen deer sign, you can look at the topography, you can look at the coverage. Like there's a thing that shows like acorn coverage, which I haven't really checked to see how accurate that is, but I think it's pretty accurate.
Yeah,
like
it's like general vicinity.
I think, it gives you an idea. But then you can pinpoint like, okay, I saw a turkey here, I saw a deer here, I found a shed here, I found a rub here, I found a scrape here, I found acorns here, I have a stand, and you can log all that information. And once you have that, like you go over, I mean, I don't even know. I probably got 1,000 plus
I need to clean mine
pins
up.
on mine now at this point, but it's like, you can begin to put that information together and you build this puzzle of like, especially, I mean, really on all properties, but like, especially like on public, if you're mobile hunting, you can see like, okay, here's food source, here's water, here's where I've seen buck sign. So like, here's a core area of where this buck probably is. Okay, here's a ridge top here. And you can build this picture of like, okay, here's probably where I should set up based off of what I've seen.
Oh yeah.
And what the knowledge that I have. And so I would say like another big thing is just like learning to recognize sign. Because one, you want to be able to know that there's deer around.
Yeah.
And, and that can be, deer tracks, that can be, scrapes, rubs, bedding, just being able to locate those things, especially on a public land standpoint, just because like if you own a property, you're going to get a gauge on how those deer move.
Right.
Depending on the size of the property, a lot easier than if you go to public and you have to be more methodical on when you can go.
Exactly. Because you're scouting against the other people too.
Yeah, you're scouting against other people. You're scouting against pressure. Like we're on like private land, you can go in there, be in and out, and you're the only one in there. Kind of what's going on. So I mean, I think it varies. Like on how people, where they're getting involved. Like if you're starting out a new hunter on public, or if you're starting a new hunter on private, it has its pros and its cons, and you're going to kind of come at it differently.
Right. Look for oaks, know your wind, see if you can get somewhat close to a water source, and then just, like those are kind of like basic starts.
But there's a lot of resources for this, to learn this stuff. Like the hunting public is always putting out like really good videos about like thermals, about, how to find this stuff. And like, I think that's a huge thing. Like and we've told this to guys that come to us and want to get into deer hunting. It's like, hey, use your resources. Like go on YouTube, like look up videos, like, not just hunting videos, but like videos about habitat and scouting and e-scouting and things like that. And setting yourself up, one, to learn, because, we've taken a couple guys hunting, and then it's like, okay, like we can show you so much and we can take you and do all the work for you. But like, you have to get out and like get experience, learn, sit, watch the deer, see how they move. And I think that's a big key. And then you get into, there's, you can get into food plots and things like that. But, as far as like doing the bare minimum as a beginning hunter, like I think the things that you can control most are, scent, getting a knowledge of your property, and then just knowing your equipment too, I think is a big one.
Yeah, your weapons, what you're going to, yes, that's huge, bro. Because there's nothing worse than injuring a deer. That is what you do not want.
Oh yeah, that's like if you hunt long enough, it's gonna happen. You're gonna have a bad shot, especially if you're bow hunting.
Yeah, it's a crappy feeling.
We've all done it, and it's just. But that's one of the things is like, learning how to be a good conservationist, learning how to be a good ethical hunter, like, and excuse me, and just getting, as much information as you can, like. That's not just opinionated, right? Like there's going to be a lot of like, in the whole deer spectrum hunting world, like no matter what, there's going to be a lot of opinions on, scent control. There's going to be a lot of opinions on what bow to shoot. There's going to be a lot of opinions on, and like, some of that's good, some of that's, bad, because, you don't want to get confused, but just figuring out what works for you and taking that and trying to apply it. Cause like you were saying, like you got your bow off Marketplace, right? And then you just learned how to sight it in, how to
sight it in, and then what arrow to shoot. That was a big deal because that first year I didn't know what the heck I was shooting. Thankfully, I never fired an arrow.
Yeah.
But when I realized the following year, it was 2 years after that, I got my first bow buck, but I was like basically shooting a youth bow.
Yeah.
Like I did not have it set right. So like my weight and all that stuff, which I think is important to know. You can really nerd out and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But it is important to know like how much force you have behind the arrow you're shooting.
Yeah, arrow length, FOC, all that kind of stuff. Like getting into,
Which there's what's that guy, Ranch Fairy? He's got it down to a science, dude.
Yeah. He's wild with it.
Yeah, you watch 2 videos of him and you're set, which you can go as deep as you want and all that, because that's a whole nother ball game. It's way different than bow hunting is different in a lot of ways than rifle hunting.
There's just a lot more variables.
Yes.
Bow hunting. There's a lot more variables. There's a lot more ways that you can goof up, mess up, or, I would even say injure a deer, if you make a bad shot.
Mm-hmm.
Gun is a lot more forgiving.
Yes.
And even rifle muzzleloader, any aspect, it's more forgiving. As long as you make a decent shot,
Yeah, definitely. Always never go hunting without target practice, no matter what weapon you're using. Never, ever, dude. That would be my biggest thing and advice. Like, and know like just know the general rules of like knowing your backdrop and, just gun safety stuff.
Yeah. No, I think there's a lot that we could cover going into, what you should and shouldn't know, but I think there's a lot of things that they put a lot of weight on, like certain brands and things like that. Bro. And, I tell people all the time because, everybody wants to have the nicest of the nice and like the best, name brand stuff, and which isn't bad, I like to have nice camo. I like to have stuff that's going to last a long time. I like to have, top of the line Matthews lift. I want all that stuff too, but it's also like, especially if you're first getting into it, I tell people, I'm like, don't go buy a brand new bow.
No.
I mean, and that might be like a
preference,
a hot take, to some people, but, get something that you can learn on that's not going to break the bank, because there's nothing more than having a friend that goes out, spends $2,000 on a bow, and then it collects dust.
Bow,
and he knows who he is if he listens to this. But and just not, and then you just have this, and it's like, it's not bad. People can buy what they want, they can do what they want, and if they have the money, like, go do it. But it's like, if you're just getting into it and you're not sure, like, get on Marketplace, go to a local bow shop.
Mm-hmm.
They have used bows, or get a budget bow or something that you can learn on.
Yeah.
And just start to shoot. Like for me this year, I'm taking up traditional bow. I just got a new traditional bow.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I got one, dude. And I bought new arrows. I got, basically everything, but it's a whole new animal. Like,
that is crazy.
I'm like having to learn how to shoot at 15 yards and
that's insane, dude. Do you have a sight on it, or how do you do that?
It's all instinct. It's all instinct. Gosh. You kind of learn how to kind of aim, and I'm still learning, dude. I'm like I want to have a guy on.
Did you get rid of your compound?
I still
good.
But
you still have your crossbow too?
Yeah, and I got the crossbow, which Harper's going to use this year. That's what I got. I got it for her, so she.
Dude, I get a crossbow. I mean, I like shooting bow.
I'll shoot some does with it. I don't know that I'd shoot a buck with it, just because it's like a.
Hey, dude, it depends, bro. I don't care what anybody says.
If I have it and like a 190 dude, walks out,
if there's a Mac Daddy that I know I need to get down before like my neighbors get it,
Yeah.
and it's only bow season.
See, that's
Yeah,
one of those things
crossbow.
that I still have like a little pride in, dude. Like, you know, like I can
Shoot,
draw a
I
bow.
mean, you can call me what you want, dude.
And it's just like,
I'll shoot that thing.
I don't know, man. And it's like, I'll probably get to the point, but it's just like, I don't know. I just
My
want to,
bad.
I don't know. I like being as close to the old ways of hunting as possible.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's kind of why I wanted to take on the traditional stuff this year. Is just like, I don't know. There's just something about like, you know, we go to Arkansas, we go to the Buffalo River a lot, and there people just live different there. You know, people just live a lot simpler lives. They're just go out and hunt in forest, and they just, you know, there's a guy there that makes obsidian arrowhead knives, and he
cool.
uses deer antlers off of people who have killed deer in that area.
That's cool.
And like they use the whole thing. Like there's people they're almost still like pioneers, you know. Like there's just parts of Arkansas where people are still just like they live by their own
That is
law,
cool.
you know. And there's something about that that's like attractive, right? Is like, you know, I think we can get in the hunting world industry space like wrapped up in like having to like, you know, man, I really want to shoot a 190 this year. I want to shoot a 160 or I want to shoot a 140 or whatever. Like you set this like goal, right?
Right.
Of like, okay, like I killed this deer. Now I want to kill one that's bigger. And like, which is great. I still want to do that, you know, but it's like, I think we can lose
The fun, bro.
yeah, the fun in it because we can get so serious and it's like, you know, you start to obsess, which it's easy to do.
Oh, yeah, dude.
You know, you begin to obsess and you lose sight of like, you know, those moments where you're sitting in the middle of the woods in Missouri and your phone's not ringing because you don't have service and there's nothing, you can't get on Facebook, you can't get on any of these things because there's no service. So you're just you in the woods. And it's like, one, there's something about it that makes you feel close to the Lord. Like it's just God's country,
Oh, yeah,
right?
dude.
And two, you're just like one with nature. And that's part of like,
It's easy to fall asleep too, dude.
I don't
Especially
fall
when you
asleep
do
much.
all
I
day
don't fall
hunts.
asleep much.
I have, bro.
I'm not gonna say I haven't fallen
But
asleep.
I actually kind of love it. But you have to time it right though. Like the only time I'll let myself fall asleep is like midday, which you can still shoot a deer in midday.
What's happened?
Yeah, it's happened. Or like if I get set up at like 4, like from 4 to 5.
Pre-sunrise,
30,
dude.
oh my gosh, bro.
Now
Those are the best naps, dude.
Sometimes I can get down with
Those
that.
are the
dude.
best naps, bro. Especially if you're in your climber.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's just so
Just
comfy. I'm
love
thinking about it right now, dude. Oh man, that gets me going.
But it's
I'm
just
a
like
napper, dude. I love naps.
you are a napper, man.
Dude, I love to
You
nap.
are an old.
But
you are
there's
an
an
old
art
man,
to it,
man.
bro. There's an art to it because you can't nap too long because then you wake up and you're like,
You miss it.
yeah. Well, no,
It's like 8
I'm
o'clock.
talking about in general.
Oh, you're tired.
Oh, well, yeah, you can miss it. But if I'm at the house on the couch and I nap too long, or if I go to the bed,
You get tired.
yeah, you get tireder. So that sweet spot's like a 30-minute window, dude.
Yeah.
You hit that nap, that's almost better than a cup of coffee, dude. Midday cup of coffee. I've traded my midday cups of coffee. No, that's not true. But you perfect a nap, bro. Game changer.
Dude, I'm red alert when I hunt, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. Any sound. My hearing's not great. You know that. But when you're in the woods, bro, you know, like I've been woken up by deer footsteps before.
I usually just fast almost because I don't even realize it because like I'm like so like I usually have snacks in my bag, but I usually don't eat them.
Let's get back to naps. Dude. No, I'm just
because
kidding.
because I don't like getting lethargic and then wanting to fall asleep because then call it FOMO or call it me just tapping into my inner native tribe, dude.
No,
And I just lock in.
can you imagine, bro, falling asleep? And this has never happened to me, but imagine falling asleep and you're hunting beside your camera and you were to see like a big deer.
Jumbo, like all of a sudden like a 160 walks through.
But you were sleeping,
Yeah.
bro. That's never happened to me, dude.
No.
I'd be so mad.
See, but that's what I'm afraid of. The fear.
Yeah, I'm a little bit afraid of that, but I don't know. I love naps so much, dude. I love big bucks, but I love naps. I love big bucks more than naps, but Sometimes it's a give or take, dude.
Anybody listening that's getting into hunting, don't nap. That's,
Just know the
It's
time to
not
nap,
a-
bro. Just know the time to. But here's the art to it, bro. You have to be like a flexible napper, and I've learned that, bro. Having young
a
kids,
5-minute nap.
yeah, dude. I'll hit some 10-minute naps sometimes, bro. And you fall asleep, but just like you're aware. It's almost like if you fall asleep to the TV, like the TV's still going,
Yeah.
but you're like you hit that mode where like I'm sleeping.
You're an
but-
autopilot, dude.
Yeah, dude.
You hit autopilot
Dude,
for a
that's
little
the
bit.
gold right there, bro. But you're still, I don't know how it happens. You just
It's like
develop
airplane mode. Like your phone still works a little bit, but
it.
it's not
Yes,
like
bro.
full on service.
Yes, dude. And enough to where you're aware of what's going on, but it's like, I don't know. It's an art. You need to learn it though. It's a
I'm
beautiful
out, dude.
thing. Dude.
I'm a locked in.
It's a beautiful
I get
thing.
locked in. But are you going out of state this year? Anywhere?
I was going to go to Kentucky, but probably not.
Where are you
Possibly
gonna go?
Indiana.
LBL?
Huh?
Were you gonna go to LBL?
No, I was going to go to another plot of land. Kentucky has a lot of public land
Yeah.
too.
Kentucky's got good bucks.
But
I killed a
when
good buck there last year.
oh yeah, that's right.
7.5
The
year old.
where in Kentucky was that? Hopkinsville.
No, it's middle of Kentucky.
Oh.
Middle south.
The I was gonna go. I was planning a Kentucky hunt, public hunt, but then I drew for.
Mm.
So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about.
You drew there this year?
Yeah,
Nice.
early access gun too, dude.
Oh, nice.
We get to use our gun from November 14th to the 22nd. Which that's still muzzleloader season in Tennessee.
You got to draw, right?
Yep. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
draw.
that's cool. I want to try to draw for. I think this year I'm going to put in for Wyoming.
When is that window?
I think you draw. It's in the spring.
Have you ever drawn
Same
for the
March.
Masters?
No,
I did this year, but I
I'm
didn't
not,
get it.
dude. I'm not that big into. I like to golf.
Oh, I'd love to go to the
I
Masters.
don't think I'm like that into golf. You know?
I love golf, dude. I'm going tomorrow, actually.
Are you going?
But anyways, go Dogs.
I am ready for that. That's the one thing I will do in a deer blind is I'll watch. If I have service, I'll watch a little football.
Oh, dude.
I'll watch
Bring
a
your
little
battery
Saturday.
pack on an all-day
Yeah,
sit.
dude, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm hunting like Missouri, where it's like you
Rural.
you sit and you're just hunting, you know. But if I'm like, that's the thing is, it's like if I'm a public, I'm like, I'm moving, I'm
Because you don't know what's...
you know, and I'm just, you know, I'm more mobile. You know, if I'm on public, I'm more like I will set up a climber like sometimes, but I like to more be like spot and stalk kind of.
That's why you gotta get a saddle, bro.
See, I tried the saddle. I'm just not a saddle guy. I don't.
I'm
think,
a saddle guy, dude.
I just. I may give it a second chance. Maybe I just didn't have the right saddle. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to say whose saddle I had, but maybe the brand just wasn't for me. Maybe
Yeah.
I need to get a.
I got a tethered. I'll throw that name out because I love it. I got a tethered saddle 3 years ago, and it's amazing, bro.
Yeah.
And especially for public land, like you can set it up wherever. You find out where you want to go hunt and sit, and then just set that thing up, bro.
Yeah. I would like to get another one and try it again, but especially if I start doing more public land hunting, which I feel like next year I might do. Probably do a little bit more. I want to do quite a bit in Arkansas. I really want to hunt Arkansas. Really, because I saw the Element guys hunt
Who's
Arkansas.
that?
The Element, the hunting show.
I never seen him.
Casey and Tyler, they
Jason and Tyler, sorry.
they hunt. They do a lot of public hunting. They do like the buck truck hunts and stuff. But they do a lot of traveling, and they'll go to a lot of places in Nebraska and stuff like that. But you know, it's like we can go on these, you can pay to go hunting anywhere.
Yeah, that's called
But there's
sitting.
just,
You got to go sit and shoot.
yeah, but there's something about, public, like, that's why I know a lot of people are like, man, I don't want to hunt public if I don't have to, blah, blah, blah. But there's something about like going out there and like not really knowing, like obviously like there's some public land that you can put cameras on and you can like, but there's just something that sounds, which we've done it, we've done like blind hunts and stuff like that where we had no ideas, but it's just something about going out there and like figuring it out on the fly, and just going on during the rut to some public land in a different state. And then just like, cause you hear about it all the time, like people kill giants, dude.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people go out there and, it's not luck. Like you got to find like where they're at, but just the thrill of like not knowing is almost kind of like, it's like deep sea fishing, dude. You drop that thing down there and you don't know what you're going to catch.
Exactly.
And I feel like it's kind of the same way. You just like go out there and you're not even sure like really what's out there. I mean, it's cool because it's almost like you roll the dice and it takes the pressure off of like, because if I get like a big buck on camera, like that's all I can think about, like I'm like, okay, like I got to figure out how to kill this deer, which I love that aspect. But I also like love the like simplicity of like kind of going back and just hunting, not necessarily like, I do like locking in on a big buck and like, having a target buck and things like that. And like trying to like kill that deer.
Yeah.
Like there's something about that.
That's what's fun about summer scouting though. Like see like historical rubs and then find like some scrapes and bedding. Like that part is fun to me too. Like it's not like a job, you know what I'm saying, to me at least. Like it's like that's fun because by the time you're doing summer scouting, like maybe you went shed hunting that spring and this is your first like it's like NFL preseason. Like dude, the season's coming up and like like that what I'm doing right now, I'm not shooting anything yet or necessarily hunting anything, but just deer's in the air, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I'm on a new bow hunting team this year for the bow hunting league. Did you get in on that this year and get on a team? I don't think it's too late, dude. Get you on a team. Yeah. But I love it. I think it's super fun because I met some super cool people, and that's kind of what I want to go into. This is like in the bow hunting league, you can get on teams and you can pick up different people that you want to be on a team with, and basically you try to kill a big buck, and then you take your 3 scores together, and then that's your team score, and then you compete against.
And they've had some massive.
I don't know. There's like 700 to 1,000 teams or something, and like you get a chance to win some cool stuff and whatnot, and it's just really cool. But what I think is the most cool part about it, obviously the free competition is cool, but I've gotten to connect with some super cool people that I, even on past teams that I'm still like Facebook friends with and talk to and talk about hunting and whatnot. But, there's guys that are on there. I connected with a guy this year that's a big duck hunter, big.
I love duck hunting, bro.
And, so we're going to connect and go duck hunting together, sometime this year. So, like I think it's, super important to get like connected with people that are not necessarily like in the industry, like as far as like business wise, but like, getting in friend groups that you can like because like if you don't have a buddy to come help you drag a deer, or you don't have somebody to help you, like that makes a big difference, dude. Like, at one, like obviously if you're hunting publicly and stuff like that, like doing the solo stuff is like part of it. But
right.
Like you also want to be able to share those moments like with people, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Not necessarily even like, hey man, come out here and see this deer, but to like phone call that buddy, like, dude, big buck down, dude. Yeah, like, and just like feed that like passion to each other. So I just think it's super important to get into like a community, like a hunting community too. And that's what I love about the bow hunting league is like it's like a community of people that, you know, people will post pictures of deer they shot and everybody's like, oh man, congrats. Yeah. And, you know, that's what I love about, you know, and there is a flip side to that. There are people that like buck shame, which I think is ridiculous, you know, but it's like people are going to shoot what makes them happy, and that's how it should be.
Exactly.
You know, and
shoot the spike, dude.
Yeah, if you like a spike, shoot a spike, you know, and it goes back to like where you at in your hunting like journey. And some people may never want to kill big buck, and that's fine. Like they're just out there for meat. Great, be a meat hunter. I don't care. You know, it's like people may disagree. Like, you know, if it's your property and you want to shoot a spike and you bought a tag, you shoot a spike.
That thing.
You know,
boy.
it's like, you know, but there is that conservation side, you know, when you know, I don't think everybody should go out there and start shooting spikes, but it's like educating people on like, hey, like, you know, this is a yearling. This is a 1.5-year-old deer. Like, if you're just at it for meat, like if you wait until this deer is bigger, you're gonna get more meat. You know, like, and just, you know. But I get it. You know, there's so many angles the way that you can look at it. You know, and everybody has their opinions on that and different things. But you know, it's not everybody can go out and shoot a 136 for their first deer. You know, so it's like
that was crazy.
Everybody's got to start somewhere, and everybody's got to, you know, grow into whatever capacity of hunter they want to be. You know, and it's just like Michigan. Like Michigan, yeah, can you shoot a big buck in Michigan? Yeah. But there's also double the hunters of like most other states, you know? Like,
well, that's what I like. I love the way Kentucky does their like regulations. One buck. And isn't it an antler restriction too? Or no?
I think in some areas.
See, I wouldn't mind.
I can't remember if it is or not.
I wouldn't mind having 2 bucks in Tennessee, which we already have.
One restricted.
Yes, exactly.
That's how Michigan does it. You can shoot 1 buck any size. It's just got to have antlers 3 inches or longer, I think. And then the second buck, it has to be 4 on one side.
Which, that's what's sweet about that quota hunt, the Cheatham, is they have that restriction.
It's got to be an 8-point or bigger. Yeah,
which is cool. Sweet, dude.
Which I think is good, especially like if they do that on like the quota hunts. Like if you limit it to like size, then I think it could definitely, you know, be an advantage of getting good deer. It makes it worth drawing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, dude. That's what I like too about, I'm thankful that this year for Tennessee, they did, because it was the same cost for a non-resident that it was for us, for sportsmen.
Really?
It was, but they just changed it finally for this year.
They raised it?
They raised it for the non-residents, not for us.
I didn't realize it was the same price, which I never bought a non-resident,
But yeah, it was, which was kind of frustrating because Tennessee's kind of a sleeper state, and you can have like these people in like Alabama or Florida or, you know, South Carolina, which I'm sure there's deer there somewhere, but Tennessee's like a little bit higher. It's more in the mountains, and you can pay a cheap non-resident license. So you're combating like this influx of non-resident hunters too when you're hunting public land that can pay the same as you. So I'm glad that they kind of gave us a little bit of a nod this year.
Yeah. No, I think that is good. I think I don't think there's enough public land
in Tennessee,
just in general.
Oh, yeah, in general.
Like for hunting, you know, I mean, you look at even where we live, there's just so much like construction going on and like build outs.
Middle Tennessee's hard. Bro.
And, you know, like even out by your dad's, like they're building, you know, houses left and right. And it's just, you know, I get people got to move, people want to move and they got to build and yada, yada. But it's like, you know, I think we could do better as a people of conservation and like trying to like preserve, you know, these habitats. Cause it's just, it kind of like concerns me a little bit of like where we'll be in like 15 years.
Exactly. Well, that's what's nice about like Missouri, for instance. I'm sure other states do this, but Missouri, I know I think they have a state tax, which whatever. But I know that maybe it's not state tax. I don't know. Some sort of tax goes towards like their wildlife resource agency.
Yeah.
So that's why like Missouri, if you look at Missouri on Onyx, they got pockets everywhere of public land,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah. It's not like these big, they're not all these big, like massive areas.
Yeah,
They
you
got,
have
like,
to draw a quota or whatever.
Yeah.
Where Tennessee, at least where we're at, is like big plot, big plot, big plot.
And then everybody's there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's nice about Arkansas is Arkansas has a lot of public land, and it's just it's deep. It's very
Mhm.
deep. But not everybody wants to hunt there, not everybody wants to go. Not everybody wants to go out of state. And I don't think, I heard somebody say something about like if you can't kill a buck where you live, then why would you go somewhere else?
Yeah.
Like learn how to hunt where you're at before you're like, just going and like paying for these hunts and stuff like that. And,
For sure.
it's, yeah, man, there's a lot to cover in the hunting space on, just,
We'll do another podcast for sure.
oh man. Yeah. And I plan on having, I'm going to have quite a few people come on here and we're going to talk about, like I'm going to do one on food plots. I'm going to do one on, basically like land management and
That'd be cool.
what that looks like to keep a healthy deer herd. And, but it's, some of that stuff is, to go back to like, kind of like, if you only have 6 acres, it's hard to manage.
Yeah, you can't really do much about it.
It's like you're either going to be a pass through or there's going to be like some local deer, but it's like, when you're fighting with the neighbors, that changes a whole lot.
Which
of
was
stuff.
not even a thing when Dad first bought that, but the last 2 years it's become not a bad, but it's just like,
Well, I feel like
navigating
the
all that.
places that you can hunt are getting, more limited and they're shrinking down. So it's like, as a people, it's our responsibility as hunters to be aware of like the state laws that are changing.
Mhm.
Like next year in Tennessee, you're going to be able to bait, and like what that's going to change and how that's going to impact things. And like, there's stuff as hunters that you're able to vote on for your city and like, or in your state and, be able to play a role in. And I'd encourage people to get involved in those things and be aware of like the
Mhm.
changes that are coming and the things that are, happening. Cause it, you may not think it affects you, but
Right.
it's like, if you have you can go multiple different directions with the bait thing. Like if you have a good property that holds a lot of deer and your neighbors don't, but now they can bait,
Mm-hmm.
well, you better start baiting,
Yeah, exactly.
because
We're making a water
you're-
source or something.
yeah, I mean, you're going to have to, it's going to be a lot more competitive.
Yeah.
And that's, depending on the size of the plot. Like if you got thousands of acres, you really don't have that much to worry about. But
Mhm.
if you're on 40, acres or whatever, you're probably going to be at competition with your neighbors
Yeah.
and your travel. I mean, they're going to travel.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to
Especially
travel a
during the
mile or
rut,
so
bro.
or whatever during the rut. They'll travel multiple miles.
Forever.
You don't
Yeah.
know. Depends on the deer and whatnot, but just being aware of what's coming up in your state, like what things are changing, and just knowing regulations, I think, is a big thing. Whether you're a new hunter, been hunting a long time, and like if you're going out of state, learning those regulations.
Mhm.
Not everywhere allows trail cameras. Not everywhere you can bait. Not everywhere you can even put minerals out. And like some
Mhm.
states, like you can't, do
That's
certain
crazy.
things. And just being aware of your state's regulations, I think, are super important, especially if you're wanting to do some travel and moving around. And even sometimes the state game areas have different regulations. And
Yep.
like if you like in the same state that you hunt,
For
private,
sure,
the
dude.
state land can have different regulations.
Yeah.
So, that's another thing I would just encourage people that if they start getting into hunting or getting into the outdoor space, like, just take the time to educate yourself
Mm-hmm.
on, not just like the laws, but educate yourself on, how to hunt, like watching videos, watching things to get educated, to set yourself up for the best success that you can.
Right.
Like we always say, like control the controllables, and then the other things you can adapt to as they come. But I just I think we covered a lot
We
today.
did cover a lot. Lee,
Talking
what do you
about
think there, Lilo?
Scent and all that kind of stuff. And
Leland, pull up sync control.
yeah, we'll definitely cover some more stuff. I think, is there anything that you can think of that like is like as far as like beginning and things that we wish we knew that we
Yeah, I
didn't
think we
know.
covered a lot. Just get into it, and then also like make an effort to like learn the hunting stuff outside of the season, and then like setting up a stand and shooting. Because I know like I didn't understand this when I was new to hunting, but I would like meet people that I would build a friendship with, and then like ask them like, "Can I go hunting with you?" And I'm like, "Bro, why does no one ever let me go hunting?" But because I didn't know what I was doing, one, and well, like I didn't have a clue, you know what I mean? So there's the factor, if you're protecting someone new, which is fun to do because you want to be able to help people like be in the woods and experience it. But depending on what your goal is out as a hunter, if you're bringing someone new, like it can make or break that sit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they come out of their car smelling like Downy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh gosh.
We took a guy one time, he had cologne on, man. He came fresh and ready to go clubbing.
I was like, well, it's 4:30 and this hunt's already over, so
Yeah. But
it is what it is.
No,
That's
it's
really
just,
all I got. Though.
Yeah, you just need to, as people, you're always going to continue to learn. I learn stuff every year. I learn stuff every day about hunting. You continue to learn. You just got to continue to stay in that mindset. Like you're not going to know everything, and then you're just going to continue to get with the right people. Continue to be teachable, and open to like, because a few years ago I didn't know anything about, arrow. I knew about arrow spine, like you got to shoot a certain spine for poundage, but I didn't know anything about like FOC and like weighing my arrow and how that affects the flight pattern. It was just like, go buy these arrows that fit my bow, and I'm going to put 100 grain, broadhead on
loading
it.
that thing up,
and
dude.
I'm gonna.
You loaded
swing.
yours up that one year, dude.
Yeah, one year I was shooting.
You had an
Thunderbolts,
RPG, dude.
One year I was shooting heavy arrows.
That is funny.
And but there's a balance. You figure out the balance. You figure out what your bow shoots best, and you figure out kind of what works. You learn your equipment, like we talked about, and just I think that's the biggest thing is just continue to be teachable, continue to be able to learn, continue to like be open to advice on your property and like learning, how to manage your property and habitat, and learning how deer move and how people do things that they like this way that you didn't do that way, but you may like it better the way that they do it, or like just open to changing things up. Maybe you want to change your stand location because of X, Y, Z, and just being teachable. So I think that's super good. And, we're gonna have a lot of people coming on here that are gonna have a lot of good things to say and different things to talk about. And, I'm excited for it. And, yeah, man. Appreciate you coming on. Hunting for some
new rattlers, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna rattle with those this
Give it
year.
a little rattle.
Get a little rattle in there.
Dude, look at these bases, dude. Little
Yeah. Nice, dude.
Dude, you like my little,
So
you like that rattle, dude?
I like it.